Welcome everybody. My name is Ying Wu. I work for TAL Education Group. I'm based out of Beijing. Again, in the next 25 minutes, I will try to share a little bit about TAL Education Group, what we do over there in China in the K-12 tutoring and overall education industry, and also a little bit of our insights into the future, our viewpoint. And before that, let me just take 30 seconds to introduce the other two sessions that my manager told me that I have to let everybody know. There's a 3:00 p.m. in the Little America Iowa room. There's a Chinese panel talking about entrepreneurs and the ed tech companies, how do they thrive in the current China education market. It should be interesting. And tomorrow afternoon, 5 p.m., just at the pool here in this 5:30 to 7 p.m., we have about 50 entrepreneurs and startup company CEOs and some of the investors from the China education industry, and we hope to invite whoever interested in having connections, learnings. We have a cocktail reception. So, okay. This is a very interesting mix. I still decided I use English to continue my presentation, if you don't mind. All right. Our company mission, which actually was changed last year, actually just barely, probably 4 or 5 months ago, is advancing education with technology. And prior to that, our company mission was making learning more effective. The reason I started with this is this TAL Education is a young institution, only 14 years since its inception in 2003 by our founder, Tom, who is a math tutor, not even a teacher, to elementary school students over there for basic math and a little bit advanced Olympic math type of curriculum. And probably the first year, we only have about less than 100 students, mostly taught by Tom himself and a couple of other co-founders who are all math teachers. And over the last 14 years, we've grown into a pretty sizable education and K-12 tutoring institution in China. The reason behind that, the entire 14 years of growth was based on one fundamental philosophy that we all share within TAL, which is making learning more effective and deliver education results to the students. But last year, we changed our entire company's mission to advancing education with technology, and I hope I can share a little bit more in today's presentation. So just a very quick glance at TAL. We're in about 30 cities in China, mostly tier 1, tier 2 cities, delivering small class, all subjects tutoring after class to K-12 students, elementary school, middle school, and high school. And as of now, we have probably about a little bit more than 18,000 full-time staff. Majority of them are teachers, full-time staff. Last year, these are all, by the way, public data. We're traded on New York Stock Exchange. About a little more than 3 million students enrolled in either one or more of our education or training program, either online or on-site in one of our 500 learning centers in those 30 cities. And also we do have another online learning platform that connects to roughly 30 plus million parents or families, quote, quote. Most of them are, again, K-12 students' family in China. In our company, our employees, we don't care too much about market cap, so I'm not going to mention about market cap. Obviously, we've actually enjoyed pretty good growth in terms of the student base again, and those. But if we look at the whole market, just a pretty narrow view of a K-12 tutoring market in China, it's still highly fragmented, as you know. The top 3 players in that market right now probably combined have no less than 4% of the entire market share, just in the K-12 tutoring alone. And just another interesting number, our team just did a little investigation. The penetration ratio for in the whole China K-12, everybody, is about 30%, meaning 30% of the Chinese students actually do take some sort of tutoring program after their day school or public education in the K-12 age group, comparing to about 70 to 80% in Korea. So it's still an interesting, open space out there. And our current business structure is quite simple, actually. Look from the externally. We do heavily focus on, again, from primary all the way to the 12th grade for academic curriculum tutoring, which we call it domestic education, meaning the majority of the students are in the domestic education in China. And we do have a rising kind of trend or demand in China, especially in the tier 1 and tier 2 cities for the parents who want more diversity of the education, called international education. Some are American schools, some are UK schools, some are curriculum delivered for more English-based immersion environment. So we do have that business unit. And also we actually provide technology products and service to our public school, the entire public school system. And also there are ones like us providing training and education and tutoring, be it online or on-site, all over China to millions of students. For those organizations, we also provide some products and technology to them, which I share in a little bit. But one thing to mention is what actually internally support our scale, and basically with millions of students every week coming to our centers and learning online, are those 3 things. Basically, we call it the small front end, which means the domestic education, internet education, but a big or huge or strong back end. We have about 700 to 800 people still growing full-time, working on curriculum development in our headquarters in Beijing. And we do have another roughly around 1,000 staff, technology-oriented, working on products, mobile products, data technology, and programming. So I share that later on. So this consists of we call it operating system. So if we have a new business line going up or new curriculum to be deployed into any center or any city, it has to go through the back-end system first before. So it's not purely front-end driven. It's quite interesting to think about it from a service type of oriented organization to do that. Probably because our founder, he was a math teacher, so he's not really a Chinese teacher. And also there's an interesting story when the company was founded in 2003. There was I don't know if anybody still remember that the SARS, the fever that got spread so badly in China. So basically, we have to shut down all the public schools, everything pretty much. So if anyone of you were in China or in Hong Kong or in Shenzhen or in Asia in 2003, you probably still remember the time you wear a mask in the airplane, whatever class of seat you are in. But anyway, during that time, the company was founded, and the company had to stop the delivering of class because everything is shut down. But our founder, he started a website called ASU Wang at the time, just to because everybody has to stay at home, through the internet, he delivered the problem-solving methodology, the practice for his students. And later on, that small, tiny discussion group type of thing became one of the largest, actually pretty much still the largest parent community right now in China. We call it 家长帮, which is basically parent helping community online. Right now it's in mobile on the cell phone, which we have roughly 14 million parents registered to get help in terms of education at home or education for their kids. So the parent community is one of our unique strengths. And also, obviously, the core technology infrastructure has grown. So I'll have show that a little bit. Probably I'll skip this. It's public data. Looking to future, we had lots of discussions. Again, our core leadership team right now have this vision for the entire company in the 4 directions that we will transform and evolve. The number one is we are still predominantly a tutoring company. And we do want to do more education, true education, holistic education, STEM, and more helping even families to raise a better, or raise, kids and students do better communication, better education at home. So this is the whole thing that we are learning from all the full-time schools, research institutes, and also we come here to learn what is the better education, because we want to transform into that direction. And also, from a classroom teaching, on-site, small class, 500 centers, millions of students, we do want to transform into a more blended way. We want to leverage the internet. We want to leverage the online technology. So for more blended learning online and both on-site and online. And also next one, once we have all the data that we need, we do want to transform from a more operation-driven. Think about that, we have almost like 20,000 teachers all over the place in 30 cities. It's hard to, it's very difficult to scale every year over year. And we do want to move from that operation-driven, still at the same quality or provide even higher quality by focusing more on data-driven and technology-driven. This is a hard core of our next 10 years journey. And lastly, we are still, primarily in China right now. We have a good reputation and good student base in China, and we are thinking by when the time is ready, we probably can contribute more globally in still the greater field of education. The 4 enablers or pillars that we are heavily investing right now internally and working with the industry experts online, data, and artificial intelligence applied to education. And also we have a growing ecosystem of all the practitioners, all the industry players in this field. So I'll have one pager for each one just to give you a flavor of what they look like. The number one is online. Actually, this morning we were having an interesting discussion with some of the journalists on how we think online is. So a rough estimate, as of now, every week in China alone, in the K-12, meaning mostly elementary school and middle school, probably around every day, around 1 million to 2 million students at home learning through online live streaming, either by a tutor or in a small class or in a actually big class online, everything online, in their home, okay? Roughly 1 or 2 million, there's no official number, that's our failed, kind of estimate. And there's probably another 30 to 50 million users every day online using some sort of live streaming for personal entertainment, for social network, for any type of other purpose other than the K-12 learning. So and we developed many different mechanism or format or ways of teaching. 1-on-1, 1-to-6, 1-to-10, 1-to-20, 1-to-500, 1-to-1000, and 1-to-infinite. So we've practiced all of that in China. So if you look at that, next page, just to give you a more variety of what's happening right now in China, I mean, through more visual way. Some students use iPad, some still on PC, some on, kind of, big screen TV at home, and some using their handheld device, quote smartphone, and some are still in the classroom. The teacher, if you look at the middle bottom one, their live teacher is in Beijing, and the view that think of that the classroom is in, let's say, Urumqi in Xinjiang province, and the teacher in the classroom will help interpret, but the live teacher, the main instructor, is on the screen live, and that instructor probably is one of the best, math teacher or biology, chemistry teacher or whatever, and so these are lots of different ways that we are testing and having a quite good interim results, if you will, from the students themselves and from the local teacher and from also the kind of the assessment of the results. And it's still evolving. It's definitely just the beginning of the entire online education in China in the K-12 field. And next one is data. Interestingly, once we go more digital, once we go more online, we found out we can actually collect personal learning data of every student when they're in the classroom, or when they're at home, or when they are using an iPad doing some practice, or when they are sometimes in a theater lesson, taking a kind of a, big lesson, be it whatever subject it is. So when we accumulate those data, and when our teaching content actually is structured in a way like a question bank or smart kind of content that can have lots of tags for us to organize the data and link that through the personal learning activity data, we found out we can do a whole lot of different things than what we can do before as a super teacher teaching 20 students or 50 students in a classroom. We can do a whole lot of personal or more effective learning content, practice, and teaching, and even changing the way we develop a curriculum. So, and also on the business side, if we want to select a new site in a city, we pretty much now have the transaction data supporting us to know where is the best location for, let's say, grade 1 to grade 5, or where is the best location for middle school students, things like that. So the data structure is very important in our next phase. And next one is even more interesting. Of course, AI is a buzzword, but what we are thinking is probably we are not in a position to invent the hardcore AI technology-wise or algorithm-wise. However, we do have a massive number of users who generate data and who can test out a lab or school research lab type of model and take that from that stage to a more applicable, usable, feasible, valuable way of AI applying to technology. That's what we are doing. So we are applying image recognition, voice recognition, facial recognition, emotion recognition, and link that to the actual teaching environment, and link that to actual meaningful results that we can leverage to improve efficiency or to improve results. So that's what we're actually doing. Very interesting. This one is probably even in a still early stage comparing to the online live streaming technology, but this one we are seeing in the next 5 to 10 years definitely will play an important role in our way of teaching and hopefully to help more schools and educators. And last one, I do want to leave probably 5 minutes for Q&A. I think I'm on time. Our ecosystem. Our original kind of motivation to build this ecosystem actually was not to really for investment, because people always ask me, because I'm the head of investment, so hey, John, you have all this entrepreneur camp and incubator and all kind of things. Probably you just want to select the best company to invest on. But actually, we probably had a little bit of that, but definitely that's not our purpose. Basically, we believe we, as a kind of quote, growing company, we do spend a lot of time and resource on technology as I described, And also we do suffer a challenge every year how to organizationally manage a 20,000 and growing at 40+% every year-over-year organization. So we do have experience we want to share to our peer industry players and help them to grow. And also we want to learn from them because we know when we get bigger, lots of the great ideas actually lies to the entrepreneurs and the startups who actually focus on very specific point. So we built a EdStars program. Right now we had, over the last 3 to 4 years, we had about 2,500 applicants who are all entrepreneurs, startup companies in education only, mostly ed tech driven, and some are service or curriculum content driven. And also we do have a platform that through our portfolio companies, we deliver service and products in a more SaaS type of platform to tens of thousands, roughly like 20 to 40,000 small institutions like doing all kinds of education or training or tutoring all over China, so which we cannot possibly do by ourselves. So these are the ecosystem. We hope we can provide technology and exchange technology, and we can leverage our parent community and give more exposure to the players, industry players, and also we can share off our insights and expertise to help the entire industry to grow. That's pretty much my presentation, and we still have about 3 minutes. Any question I'd like to interact? Please.
What is the current blend between on-site tutoring and online?
Yeah, great question. As I just mentioned, one of our next 10 years vision is we will move from on-site, meaning quote-unquote classroom, to more blended. Let me unfold that a little bit. One is we definitely are seeing much higher growth ratio in terms of online, in terms of the incremental new student or new demand, much higher, okay, much steeper in terms of the growth ratio in China because the infrastructure, technology, content are ready. We are already in that fast growth. So we are also doing a lot of that. We have a pure online school branded sub-brand under the TAL Education Group, like a fully owned subsidiary or BU business unit. Their growth ratio actually is and will be much higher than our traditional business. However, from a more learning and a long-term learning perspective, we still do believe the intimacy of classroom, especially for the young learners, and also the peer learning environment. And also if you look at the holistic education perspective, pure online one-on-one probably won't be the total solution. So still we are growing very strong in terms of the local on-site, close to our parents, close to local school, close to local community type of learning center. So both ways we will do. I don't know if I clearly answered the question, but the growth ratio will be higher online. Yeah. All right.
Are you seeing a change in the subject, the demand for what particular subjects that people want tutoring in?
Great question. Yeah, definitely. Two trends. One is international education. So people are not just sending, they're 12 years old or 10 years old to us, just learning math, just to get ahead a little bit of the curve academically in the quote-unquote public school curriculum. They are sending for robotics, for programming, for whatever that might help their children to excel in the 21st century. And also they are asking for, what can I do? I'm a third grade student's parents in Beijing. Should I choose international school in the future? What should I do? What if I want to go to UK? They have lots of questions. So we are providing, one is our parent community is one of our biggest vehicle. We provide lots of expertise there through, again, live broadcasting and all kinds of internet technology. The other is we provide STEM education, all kinds of other curriculum. Although they are small, very small compared to our current main business, but we believe those are the future and those will grow. So it's very clear direction. Sorry, our time is out. So, but I will be there in the 3 o'clock in actually half an hour from now in the Little America in the Edward room. Yeah, I'll be there in the panel also if you want more communication. Thank you. Thanks.